Hey community of awesome, I'm Gabe and this is Bookish Pixie. So I'm filming in the evening, which I don't love doing because it's a lot harder to get the lighting right. But part of the reason I haven't been filming quite as consistently as I would like is I am surrounded by construction and it has been really loud every time I've had a spare moment to vlog, so that's been super fun. So I've given up recording my vlogs at my usual time and am going to attempt vlogging in the evening, and we'll see how that goes, but we're doing it now, so hey. Anyway, you don't really care about what time of day I'm vlogging, so let's get right to it, shall we? Hey, what's the best way to use description imagery from first-person point of view? I'm trying to add more environment and surroundings for the character build-up and mix it in with the setting. So in first person and third person limited, basically any point of view where you're close to the narrator. The most important thing to remember about description is you're not just describing what's around the character, you're describing what the character notices about their surroundings. All description in these close point of views should be filtered through the eyes of your narrator. So you really want to get to know your character first because you need to not only know what's physically around your character, right? But you also need to know what it is your character would notice about it and what they would think about it. So to give an example of this, I'm going to shamelessly plug my book, Beyond the Red, and read a quick excerpt in which Eros, one of the point of view characters, is seeing palace grounds for the very first time in his life, but he's doing so as a prisoner. Everything here is white and red. Endless red sand stretched far into the horizon. Strong, smooth light walls reached to the stars. Glistening white stone buildings shimmered different colors under the heat of the suns, all draped in red flags and banners with the Alien insignia. Alien citizens of all ages walk quickly down the streets, doing whatever they voiding do in the city, every adult marked with varying degrees of black unreadable text on their bodies. All the buildings have darkened windows and closed doors. The people here are just so friendly. Reflective black spheres, the size of my fist, zip in and out of the crowd, ducking around buildings and between heads. Paved white pathways wind between the buildings, around the wall, and into the palace complex, where I'm sure it's even more disgustingly elaborate, but we're not headed there. So would another character think that a palace complex is disgustingly elaborate? I don't know, but Eros sure does, because he's there as a prisoner and he was not raised around wealth, and between the two, he's not exactly particularly happy about his circumstances, so that filters through in how he sees his surroundings. Sometimes I know where I want my story to go, but I'm not quite sure about the details of how to get there. Do you have any recommendations for writing scenes that are, I guess I will say, pivotal scenes? So I frequently have that issue where I know where the story has to go, I'm not 100% sure how to get there. And whenever I face that issue, I know it's because I need to do more plotting. Now, plotting doesn't necessarily mean you have to outline the whole thing if you don't want to, but if you get stuck, I do find it really helpful to open up a new document or get a piece of paper and start bullet pointing, okay, so what happens next? And then what has to happen next? And what has to happen next? Step by step until I figured it out. Sometimes it takes a little brainstorming of throwing ideas out and trying new ones, but sitting down and focusing on that step by step and figuring out exactly A, B, C, D is what helps me get past those points. What's your favorite thing about being a published author? Getting my stories out there, hands down. It's awesome. I love that I get to connect to other people by sharing this imaginary story that I just came up with. And then now it's on paper. I made all of this up and other people get to read it and imagine the same world that I imagined. And that's really cool. I also really enjoy the opportunities that being an author has given me, where I've been able to go to different festivals and conferences and panels. And I really like that, where I get to connect with both other authors and other readers at these really cool events. What do you think the best point of view is for writing fantasy? I've been going back and forth between first person and third person omniscient in my own writing. I don't think there's a set best point of view for any genre. Honestly, what point of view and tense you use is going to depend on the voice that works for your novel. Certainly, certain genres have more trends, like fantasy tends to be more third person, unless it's YA, because YA tends to be a little heavier on the first person point of view side, but also those trends change over time. It used to be YA was really heavily first person, and now there's more third person coming back too, and again, even that varies genre to genre within YA. So there are always going to be trends, but that isn't necessarily anything that you have to pay attention to. What you need to pay attention to is what is working for your manuscript. And if you need help figuring that out, sometimes showing excerpts to critique partners can be really helpful. Alright, well, that's what I got for today. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and comment, and I'll see you all soon.